Okay, so who's talking, me or you?
You.
Well, what happened to you leading all the time now?
No, you lead this time. I'm tired of this
Yeah, yeah. Oh, you were so excited to lead. Now you don't want to lead?
time. You lead, ready, go.
Yeah, you didn't get enough likes on your last time you leaded?
I don't lead anything. Listen, he's saying that when I lead, like, we don't get likes. When I lead, we get views. And that is...
That's all that matters?
And that's facts, okay? If you actually
That's
go
all
through
that
the track history and the facts, and the facts are that I get views. You get minimal views, I get hundreds of thousands of views.
Well, okay, we'll see about this one.
We'll see.
Episode 12? What
13,
episode is it? 13, lucky number 13.
Oh my god, lucky number 13.
Goddamn Judas.
On this video, we're gonna get demonetized and we're gonna get kicked out the YouTube channel, bro.
Who do you think is the Judas of the UFC?
Of the UFC?
The traitor,
Wow,
bro.
The traitor? Like, if there's one guy who's gonna come behind you and, like, just stab you in the back, John Jones. John Jones.
I was using that as a segue because you said before we went on about how Anthony Pettis is a weasel.
Listen, I didn't say anything about Pettis being a weasel. I just said that, like, we've heard it, like, way too much about this guy, man. Like, if you want to go to the PFL, just stay there, man. No one cares.
Yo, come on, man. He's still Anthony Pettis, lightweight champion of the world, the Wheaties Boggs.
But he called the UFC the rat race, man. Like,
yeah,
no respect.
The rat race is not like a disrespectful term. Rat race just means it's like there's a lot going on and people are just like constantly trying to compete with each other.
Well, so is the PFL.
No, PFL is going to put him on a pedestal. They're going to be like, hey, Anthony, come do some more kicks. Come jump off the wall. We'll change the rules for you. You can just jump from the top of the cage. Missile drop kick, bro.
Moonsault, bro.
Why not? They'll do all that stuff for him.
Bob.
They'll let him do anything.
Like, yo, who's that one guy in the UFC like who's like super like crazy?
Michael Pereira guy? Yeah, Michael Pereira.
That guy is next up. That guy does like 360 moonsaults and like swanton bombs and like
if he went to PFL, he would be the next like Shawn Michaels, bro.
Jeff Hardy, bro.
Jeff Hardy, man. He'll be doing everything from anything, any direction. Low blows,
sweet music or no?
Sweet no. But yeah, so lucky number 13. Let's see how many more we can do before we
I think by the end of the year we're gonna be at 50 for sure.
50? We can definitely calculate it because there's a limited number of weeks during the year. What was it?
Well,
52.
This is week number 2.
There's 52
week number 2.
There's 52 weeks.
But it's 56 weeks. It's 56 weeks.
What?
It's 56 weeks. It's not 52. It's 56.
Are you joking?
I'm being serious. What do you mean?
You're saying there's 56 weeks in a year?
Yeah.
Yeah? What?
Check it out. Check it out.
Oh my god.
How is it funny?
56. Where did you get the extra 4?
Weeks.
Where did you get the extra 4?
Oh, you're right. Actually, I confused with something
Bro,
else.
how do you survive in the world? I don't understand.
I don't survive, bro.
56 weeks. What number were you thinking? Where did the
4 extra weeks up, I don't know.
Oh my god, what's wrong with you? You added an extra whole month. That's 13 months, bro.
It's a leap year, bro.
So it's 52 weeks, and
we're at episode 13.
It's the 10th of January, so
and you might miss a few here and there too, so
So another like 50 possible episodes, maybe 49, 50 episodes. Of that, I would say our completion rate would be
90%,
75%, maybe
75%. We haven't missed like the thing like 1 week yet. So
yeah, it's not always been on Sunday, but yeah, we've been trying to.
We've been on a Monday, on a Wednesday, on a Friday, on a Sunday. Whatever goes up, goes up.
It's hard, especially with the winter holidays and like just trying to pack in as much stuff as possible. It kind of throws off your schedule, and then you feel like you're doing it every single day. Because I was doing scripts, like how many scripts did we do in total? Like 15 different.
I think 15. Yeah, 15.
Like 15 or something like that. That's a lot. Not only just for writing, but also editing and like.
Well, it helped us out a lot, eh? We're skyrocketing pretty slowly, but
Hey,
Still skyrocketed.
it's like it's all about consistency, but it also pays off too. You
Yeah.
take advantage. You take advantage when you have opportunities, because everybody's out on holidays, especially because of like quarantine and stuff. People are staying
What's that saying?
inside.
What's that saying? Like you hit the iron while it's hot or something, or like what? Like,
Yeah,
isn't that
that's
what it
a
is?
saying.
It's a
Yeah,
saying, right?
there's many sayings that you could use. I don't know. That's kind
Oh,
of weird
sorry,
one
no.
to use.
You strike the iron while it's hot. You strike the iron.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what it is. Not hit the iron.
There's
Come on,
you can use a million different sayings.
Well,
but,
speaking of new
um,
subscribers, we have one right now. A new subscriber, Trosel Bert, subscribed to your channel. Well, thank you, Bert. You're so
Okay.
good.
Great times,
Great times, great times.
Bert.
Bert.
But yeah, we plan.
Yo, why? Yo,
Birdie.
listen, bro. This guy subscribed to our channel, and you're already making fun of him, bro. This is why we
No,
have
I'm
5
giving him a
unsubs a
nickname.
day. 5 unsubs
No,
a day.
listen. Every time we say somebody's name, we have to think of a new nickname for them. Okay, either if it's a fighter, it's a subscriber, anything. We're still trying to figure out Nasrat's nickname.
Yeah, it's
You
Marco
said
Polo.
Nazi.
Nazi.
Marco Polo.
Nazi's pretty good too, though.
Nazi, no. Marco Polo is. I like Marco Polo, but it kind of is like it's kind of long, and you
Marco
like
Polo,
how would
that's a legendary name. Not only based off an animal, but off the conqueror. That's a legendary
Yeah.
name.
But then, if you have Bruce Buffer saying it, he would go, Nasrat Marco Polo.
Yo, it's a sick entrance, though. You can't lie. It's a sick entrance.
Well, maybe. Well, I don't know. I think the Marco Polo was like at first like a joke.
What's Islam's
because-
nickname?
Whose?
Islam's.
I don't know. I don't think he has one.
Is it DC?
It's Islam. Tell these guys, Makichev.
That's a legendary name. It's a legendary
Tell
name.
these guys.
Tell these guys, yeah.
For Hamzat, I think a good nickname for him is Wolf.
Buddy, his name is Boris. Which of it?
What is Boris? Boris is like a Swedish.
I think it
kind
means
of name,
wolf.
right?
I think it means wolf.
It does mean wolf.
Let me see. What does Boris mean? Boris
Imagine.
means wolf in Swedish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, no,
Hey,
sorry,
I'm
no. It's not Swedish. It's in his native language of Chechen.
Oh, okay. So I was on the right track.
Yeah, you were
Just
close.
different language.
Boris.
Maybe I heard that's what his nickname is.
Well,
and
you heard
I
wrong,
just
right?
forgot
Well, you
about
heard
it.
wrong. So.
No, I heard right. That's his nickname.
His nickname.
Wolf
You
is-
said it was Swedish. The hell?
whatever
Sorry.
whatever language you want. It could be Chinese for all I care. It's still Wolf.
Sorry.
Boris is a good nickname. Maybe he just changed it into English or.
Yo, Hamzat.
I haven't heard.
Yo, Hamzat, if you or your team is hearing
What?
this, Hamid wants to fight you. Okay? In the octagon. Okay, sign the contract. Sign the contract. And if not octagon,
No.
we'll do a grappling session. No problem.
Listen. I'll face him in UFC EA Sports 4.
Hold on, what
No
a gamer.
problem.
What a gamer.
I'll activate my PSN Plus
Zero
that
honor.
I still haven't activated.
Zero honor. Zero
Why
honor.
not?
If you're a
I-
man,
I-
you would fight him like a man. You would fight him like a man in the ring.
Because I'm a professional fighter.
Yeah.
Because I said his nickname should be Wolf.
Instead of
Why?
Boris. No, what do you mean
Yeah,
why? Have honor, bro. Fight him.
Okay, book it. I mean, when after he faces
Leon Edwards.
then
In
I'll be up
2022, bro.
next.
And that fight's gonna keep getting postponed. COVID this time.
Okay.
COVID that.
News from Connor's camp. Connor is better than ever, according to him and his tweets. But also, what usually happens is before a Connor fight happens. This is as of recent, especially his whole production company. What is it called? Mac Life. They do the Mac Life. They do like this bunch of like series of interviews with his coaches. So with John Kavanaugh, Roddy Rich. What's his name? Roddy something. I forget his last name. But they do interviews with them, and it's basically a one-on-one interview where they talk about Connor and what they think about the fight. What do you think the other person that he's facing is going to react to Connor?
He's a hell of a fighter.
Yes, basically the whole interview is about Connor and like what he's doing. It's not too much focused on what the negatives Connor's has or like Of course, it's an interview from his camp. Like, what do you expect? So they're very, very interesting interviews. It's fun to watch. It gives it like a special feel. Whenever it's a Conor fight, you know to expect these videos to come out. So a couple of videos have come out, and they've talked about, or his camp has talked about how Conor has fallen in love again with MMA. He's taking a different approach than he did compared to, like, say, the Khabib fight, where they said that he was a little bit injured, he wasn't really disciplined, he made his own schedule, and it kind of showed in the octagon as well. His game plan. So there's a lot of stuff that goes around.
I mean, you can't really say that, man, because you compare his performance like to the rest of the division, man. Like, he performed very well. Like, you know, like he went to the fourth round.
Yeah, no.
This guy.
What I was gonna say,
you know, like he walked him down.
Is that even though Conor did probably the best, arguably, against Khabib, in terms of like trying to beat him, he didn't really prepare, or according to his camp, he didn't really prepare the best. He was a little bit hurt. His foot was the size of a balloon, right? and he didn't really wasn't really disciplined in his approach. But then ever since the Cerrone fight, he's been in this season mentality where he wanted to originally fight in January and then fight like 2 or 3 times throughout the year, and like treat it as like a season.
That didn't happen.
There's many reasons why that didn't happen. Well, in January he fought Don Cerrone, and then he was trying to figure out where he landed in the lightweight picture, because it was Khabib versus Poirier, right? No, or
what's his ranking right now?
Sorry?
Which
He's
ranking
top
is he right
5.
now in the lightweight?
He's top 5. I think 2 or 3, I forget. But anyways, he was kind of stuck in the hustle and bustle of the lightweight division. He didn't know where he fit. The UFC tried to propose him be a substitute fighter for the title fight. So, for instance, if the fight were to fall through, Conor would be the one that comes in and fills in. But he's like, no, I'm not a substitute fighter. I don't do that.
I'm not Michael Chandler.
Yeah. Him and Michael Chandler have 2 different mentalities, but neither one is right or wrong. So, and then the title fight happened, and then he tried to have a fight with Dustin Poirier, and then UFC wasn't really along the ride for that, and then they agreed to do a charity fight.
It was supposed to be a charity fight.
Yeah, so there's so much that went into it, and then the pandemic hit, and then the UFC probably was like put him on the back burner because they wanted to see maybe we can have fans, like a huge portion of our funds from that night, or a big portion.
Well, they're having fans actually.
Yeah,
in attendance for the fight with Conor and Jorge. Yeah. I mean, not like too many fans, but there's going to be some.
I think it was like 2,000, which is fine.
Which is a lot.
It's in Abu Dhabi. I know that they're a little bit more progressive and ahead of the curve in terms of testing and getting people safe and all that kind of stuff.
They had vaccinations already.
Yeah,
too.
They have a lot more resources available to them, or like given out to people. So I think 2,000 is fine, as long as they use the same type of approach that they did for everything else.
And what time is this fight gonna be though?
It's gonna be
like the same time as a Khabib fight.
Oh no. So I forget what I was listening to. I think it was Dustin Poirier was on an interview or something, and he talked about how this fight is actually on U.S. time, so it's regular.
No way.
Yeah, so they're
no way, really.
They're fighting at like 8 a.m. local time in Abu Dhabi. So I get the reason why they did that.
That might screw them over though, like because if you train there, because I doubt that like you'd be ready at like 8 a.m.
They have so Dustin said that he's already going now, so you'll have like 2 weeks to prepare and get it used to the timing and training and stuff like that. There's other fighters that have done that. There's other times where they've had fights really early in the morning and it's worked out. I guess it's its own hurdle. It's its own issue that they have to figure out.
To acclimate, right?
To acclimate. But Conor is talking, or his camp is talking about how Dustin Poirier has a lot of hurdles to get over, and he probably will get beat again. They talk about how Dustin Poirier is like a little scared. It's gonna be in his mind that he got beat the first time, even though it was so many years ago, which I understand. I get it.
Almost a decade ago, right?
I don't know if it was a decade ago. What are you talking about? It wasn't 10 years ago.
Almost.
It was like 6 years ago. No, 5, 6 years ago.
No, it wasn't 6 years. No.
Okay, you look that up, and I'll keep talking. So, I get what they mean. You don't forget getting knocked out by somebody, but at the same time, you also grow and you also have other fights and you learn, and you don't. These guys are fighters. Like I get that they will have something in their brain where they are reminded of getting knocked out, and they might be a little hesitant. They might be a little bit gun shy, but at the same time, they are fighters, right? Their whole career, and what they do is
2014,
yeah, so 6 years ago. So yeah, anyway, so they're fighters. So what they do is they drill things over and over and over again. So when they go into the octagon, a lot of times their body just goes on autopilot. They don't necessarily think or like calculate every single strike that they do. When they get in there, they've trained certain combinations. They've trained situations so much that their body just takes over. So for anybody to think that it would be such a big factor that, oh, he got knocked out last time, I don't think it will play that much into.
I mean, it's a pretty big factor, right? But it's not as big as they're making it out to seem, but it's a big factor.
No,
you got knocked out clean by this guy, right?
Yeah. So if you look at that fight,
also one thing. I was listening to the Faraz Zahabi podcast, like I do every single week.
Yeah.
Right.
You go to sleep to it. Yeah.
This guy, and then
he has a Faraz Zahabi poster above his bed that he's.
I actually do, man. That guy is a sick podcaster, sick guy in general.
Okay,
but this guy, anyways, he was talking about the first fight, and he was also saying that with besides him getting KO'd by Conor, this guy has absorbed so many strikes, and his style, like, it's perfect for Conor because he throws a lot of these loopy punches, right? Like hooks and all those kind of things that with Conor, if you just if he walks him down, it's like straight path to a knockout again, right? So
yeah. So we did an analytical or like a fight.
Three of them.
A video that looks into that fight. If you want to look at the video, the top right corner, click it, watch it, come back to this. But if you look at the first fight, the strikes between the two were kind of even. A lot of leg kicks from Dustin Poirier. So he tried to stay at range. But just to know before that, this was at 145 and much earlier in both of their careers, especially Dustin's. Dustin was very emotionally shooken. He was shooketh during that time, where he let Conor get into his head. But if you look at the fight, the way that Dustin Poirier got knocked out was kind of because he was too afraid, or he was too conscious. Not afraid. Let me say it, too conscious of Conor's left hand. So if you look at how he gets knocked out, is he has his right guard up. This is when he's standing. So he has his right guard up all the time. So the reason why he has his right arm up is because he's trying to lessen the blow of any left strike from Conor. Because at that time, and still kind of, Conor really, his whole game surrounds his left hand. So everything he does is like the end goal of everything he does is trying to get you to be hit by his left hand. So in that fight, if you look, Dustin Poirier is very conscious of that left hand. He does not want to get hit by it. So what happens is he has his right guard up, but he turns a little bit too much to his left, where he's over anticipating his Conor's left hand. And Conor, because Dustin is so turned to the left, or like slightly turned to the left, Conor has an opening right between Dustin's ear and the back of his head, and he like precisely hits that.
And Conor's heavy-handed too, right? So if he lands that, that's
so
nice way to sleep.
So in that fight, he was so super conscious of Conor's left hand. I don't know if he makes that exact same mistake again. I think Conor does beat him because of his style and his aggression and his ability to hit Dustin Poirier. But the main factor why I think Dustin loses is because Dustin is just more willing to take punches now. Like he just absorbs so many strikes that I don't think you can take that many strikes from Conor, whether it's behind the ear or not. Like even if it's straight on the face,
well,
right?
In the words of our close friend, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. It's January 20 something. I forget what date it is. January 23rd. So we'll see what happens at that fight. But everything we see from Conor's camp is positive. I can't wait until we see Conor's one-on-one interview where he's standing there. He has no shirt on, right? I don't want to see. No, chill.
Yo, that's kind of sus, man. That's kind of sus. That's kind of no. That's kind of sus.
He has no shirt on. He's sweaty.
Yo, what are you saying? What is this?
He's standing 6 feet apart from the interviewer, and he just talks. He just I just feel so good.
I love the fight game. I love the fight game.
Okay,
let's go.
How can I make $100 million and still want to fight MMA? There's something in me that needs to fight.
Luckily, I'm very crafty. With my business. Okay.
In a live Q&A, I still don't know. I still can't find this Q&A. Or I looked.
Where do you find this guy's Q&As, bro? I can't find his Q&A. Listen, this guy, he talks so much, okay? Yeah. At Dana White. He talks every single day. I can't find one single live video of this guy talking. The only one I can find is a schmo. It's so annoying.
I think he did a live Q&A, and I assume it's either on Facebook or Twitter.
Facebook.
It probably is on Facebook. I saw clips from it, but I didn't see the whole thing. And then I just gave up because a lot of times
it's on Parlay.
Is this like a betting website?
No, you know that the new website that they all use now, like what Trump uses?
No, I have no idea what you're talking about. Okay. Anyways, so he had a Q&A. I saw a couple of clips here and there just surfing, I think on Twitter or whatever. But he was asked about Justin Gaichi. He said if he's like, somebody asked, what is next for Justin Gaichi? The lightweight division is kind of all over the place because of Khabib and his situation of not necessarily relinquishing his title and UFC not taking it from him. Conor versus Poirier be scheduled for Fight Island January 23rd.
You very
So somebody asked to Dana White. It says, what's next for Justin Gaichi? And he said if everything goes right, Charles Oliveira is next for him.
Wait, Dana, I want to fight your son.
No, Islam is scheduled for June Dober, so we'll look at that another time, or closer to that fight. I think that fight's in March.
But they're setting this up like a tournament style, huh? It's like a tournament style now. So with Conor Poirier, with Gaichi and Mr. Oliveira,
and then
Islam Dober,
yeah. Hooker and
Islam. Tell these guys.
Hooker and Michael Chandler is also something that's on the table.
Michael Chandler gonna come here, make weight, go home.
Michael Chandler's gonna face Dan Hooker. We've talked a little bit about that. We'll do like a full in-depth analysis, look over their fights, and give you guys a video soon, closer to the fight actually. I don't know when that fight's even scheduled for. Michael Chandler versus Dan Hooker, probably in Q1.
The disrespect. It's on the same card as Conor.
Oh, it is. Yeah, you're right. Sorry.
Wow. Somebody relinquished his rights to speak on a podcast, okay. Guys. Get him out of here, man.
If we're relinquishing the right to talk, bro, you would be banned for life. You get like 10 lifetime bans, bro. You know how in jail they give them like
timed out.
So he was asked about Charles Oliveira is going to be next. Asked about Justin Gaichi. Charles Oliveira is next for Justin Gaichi. I like that fight in terms of the contender status. I don't know necessarily how that goes for either fighter.
How does Charles listen? Like you can't stand up with Gaichi. You know, if you stand up with Gaichi, it's just like it's a one-way path to getting KO'd.
Yeah, but they also said
Right,
you
so,
can't stand up with Tony Ferguson. That's one step KO.
Yeah,
one step to
but we saw
cutting.
though. But we saw.
You saw the evidence?
There's levels now. We saw the evidence, and we saw that Tony Ferguson. Sorry, man. I love you. You're a sick fighter, but you're just not on the same level as these guys.
Oh, he should retire, right?
I think so.
Yeah, okay.
I think so.
Again, let me repeat it again. Do not listen to him. Take your time. Come back in middle of the year, maybe closer to like September. Fight somebody that's not necessarily in top 5. Maybe he's top like 6, 7. I don't know. But back to Charles Oliveira versus Justin Gaichi. This fight could be. This could be either so in favor of Justin or so in favor of Charles. I don't see this being like a back and forth war, even though that's what we've gotten accustomed to for Justin Gaethje fights.
I don't think Oliveira has that kind of chin.
Yeah, my point is, like, if Charles Oliveira tries to get into that ring, Oliveira. Let's think of another nickname for Charles Oliveira.
The Bronx.
The Bronx? No. Not the one that he already has. I know.
Charles Oliveira.
Oliveira.
Let's call him Mr. Oliver.
Okay, Mr. Oliver. Okay.
Yeah.
Just okay. So, Mr. Oliver could either get just outstruck on the feet, countered, or he tries to be a little bit more smarter and he uses grappling. So his grappling is very, very superior to Justin Gaethje's, both on the ground and probably like in the clinch as well. You don't really see Justin Gaichi clinch too much, and on the ground we saw how good he is. When Khabib,
when Khabib, listen, you can't compare him to Khabib when it comes to ground game, man. They're just at these levels, right?
Yeah, but
actually, in his most recent fights, if you watch him, he has some pretty good takedown defense. So I think he can stuff some takedowns and then keep it to the feet. If it stays on the feet, I think it's Gaethje's fight to lose.
Yeah. So I didn't say his takedown defense was bad. I said the clinch and on the ground itself. So in between there, he can prevent takedowns. But if Charles Oliveira wants to definitely win this fight, I don't think he would play around too much. He wouldn't necessarily try to go in there and try to stand and bang with Justin Gaethje, which Justin wants. He wants to stand there and counter and stuff like that. It would be also interesting to see how Justin rebounds off of that loss, because he hasn't lost in a little bit of time. The last time he lost was probably to before Khabib, that is, to Dustin, maybe. I think he would have lost in that situation. So he's not necessarily, like, the way that he speaks, he doesn't really seem like he would be a person that would be gun shy in the next fight. Or have any issues coming in there and having the fight. But
that's Gaichi for you.
This is Gaichi. But Charles Oliveira has momentum on the side, has a grappling advantage, has volume on his advantage.
The last fight. But man, like, if you watch that fight again, I don't know what Tony Ferguson was doing, man. That did not seem like a motivated Tony Ferguson.
No,
it was a weird style. It was a weird style of fighting too. He's usually like so like what's the word? What's the word? Like he's flashy almost, the way he fights. He's so like all over the place. And in that fight, he was just walking down like a straight line, kept trying the same choke over and over again. It didn't really.
Yeah, because he knew that he could possibly get it.
Which is actually called a fly trap. And he put on the thing on the wrong leg.
Did Faraz Zahabi tell you that?
Yeah, actually he did.
Yeah, for sure. I knew that.
You knew that one.
The thing that you have to remember is Tony Ferguson fights. A lot of times we forget that the way that Tony Ferguson fights is very similar to how he fought Charles Oliveira. He always comes straight forward. He will eat shots and he will get knocked down.
Yeah, but there's
almost
no
all
or
these
nothing.
fights.
It was just the same thing over and over again.
All these fights that he has, he always is fighting from behind. Rarely does he ever go in there and not get clipped. Rarely does he go in there and not do a couple rolls, a couple somersaults. Like in the Anthony Pettis fight, he got clipped. In the Tony Ferguson, the Donald Cerrone fight, he got hurt. In the Justin Gaichi fight, yeah, he got hurt a lot, even though
Too soon.
Yeah. What other fights? He gets hit all the time against Vanada, I think his name was back in the.
How would Conor and Ferguson pan out?
Conor Ferguson, I think Conor would beat him.
I think Conor would too.
Conor would try to put his back to the cage anytime Tony tries to take him down, and just use the fence to like plant himself and prevent any takedowns.
Honestly, man, with Conor is that like in the first 2 rounds, if he gets a hold of you and he lands, man, like you're playing with fire, you know?
Yeah.
Playing with fire.
So let's get back to Justin Gaichi versus Charles Oliveira. I don't know when he said that's scheduled for. I think they're working on that, but it'll be very interesting. So if Justin loses to Charles Oliveira is probably the number 1 contender. I would say.
I wouldn't say that.
Anything could happen. Anything could happen for the other 2 matchups. So Dustin Connor and Michael Chandler and Hooker. But I would put Charles Oliveira as the number 1 contender, and I would try to make, assuming the reason why I say he's number 1 contender is because I assume that Connor versus Dustin would be for the title. We can segue into that topic.
Or what if you do it this way? Or listen, how do you do this way? Okay, Connor Poirier. Okay, then you do Oliveira and Gaichi, Islam and Dover. Okay, so the 2 winners between Connor and the thing fight and the Gaichi fight.
Islam?
No,
okay.
And the Gaichi fight, they both fight each other. Okay, and then the 2 winners between the Chandler fight and the Islam fight, they fight each other. Okay, and then you have 2 big fights right there. Chandler versus Islam. Sick fight.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Islam is primed for to fight in the top 5 or top 10. He hasn't even fought in the top 10 yet. Yeah. So you never know. Maybe he goes in and faces Drew Dober and beats him. But just based on the Drew Dober matchup, the best scenario that I could see for Islam Makhachev is he TKOs or like stops him in like the 3rd round, and that's just because Drew Dober is so tired. As Drew Dober like is very, very high volume, and he like is very aggressive. He will come in and like he'll throw jumping hooks and stuff like that.
Gazelle punch.
So Islam is really just going to try to go in there and avoid his strikes and counter and outlast Drew Dober. But I could also see Islam. So Islam, best case scenario, TKO in like 3rd round, or he wins a decision, unanimous decision 30-27, which is also not bad. But I don't think that's enough for him to go to face Michael Chandler. I don't think they'll put him against Michael Chandler. It'll be fun. It'll be fun to see him against
Michael Chandler. Gonna come here, make weight, go home.
You're gonna have to put some respect on Michael Chandler's name if he goes in there and he destroys Dan Hooker. Yeah. Khabib, January 20th. Do you know what January 20th is?
3 days before the Conor fight.
3 days ago. Khabib is actually going to have some deep discussions. Some serious discussions with Uncle Dana.
Dana, I want to fight your son.
So this chicken, I'm gonna kill your chicken. Russia,
this
100
is
million.
One easy fight in lightweight division. Number one.
Yeah, so Khabib is coming to corner, I think Usman and somebody else at Fight Island.
An Islam fight.
No, Islam is in March.
He's fighting at Las Vegas, right?
I'm not sure, but it's again. I think Islam is in March, but Khabib's there for 2 fighters. I think Usman and somebody else, but so he'll be at the Conor card, cornering his cousin. People thought he was his brother. I thought it was his brother too. He looks like him. He looks like a mini Khabib. Yeah, but it's his cousin, so he's gonna corner his cousin for that fight card. But more importantly, he's talked, or this discussion with Dana White has been teased and talked about so much.
Legendary day.
Since I don't know how long ago. It was before that press conference with his GFC.
It was
not GFC.
prophesized. It's been prophesied since
so,
like before he was born. It's a big day.
So there's a couple there's a couple things that he's going to be talking about. So one of the things that he's going to talk about is his new fight organization that he bought out in Russia. So it was called Gorilla FC, and now it's called EFC. It's a Russian promotion for MMA that he's trying to bring up and use potentially as like a feeder league for the UFC. So he would have his champions and his top contenders potentially have like a bridge contract, or a contract that could transfer over to the UFC, and they could bring the influence that they have in the Russia into the UFC. So continue the uprising of the Russians. If you look at how many Russians there are today compared to like 5-10 years ago, it's like substantially higher.
And not just Russia, East Europe.
Yeah, Eastern Europe as well. But I think the majority of people that will be coming or fighting in EFC would be like Russian people.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that he's going to come to talk to Dana about. But the other thing, which is like the elephant in the room, is the UFC lightweight title. So Dana has come out for many times now and saying that, hey, I'm not going to strip Khabib. The impression, he's also mentioned that he thinks that he can convince Khabib to come back. So the impression that I get is he doesn't want to strip him until he sees him in person, talks to him, and says, you know what, this is my offer for you to come back and fight. What do you think? The next step is, or so what we thought, or what we talked about, I don't know if you remember, was Tony Ferguson versus Charles Oliveira was a huge factor in this January 20th conversation, because Tony Ferguson has always been, in Khabib's eyes, the most competitive fight out there for him at lightweight. Before he faced Dustin, before he faced Conor, all that kind of stuff, he's always been correlated. He's always been synonymous with Tony Ferguson, his career especially. That fight fell out 5 times now, I think, or 4 times. He came out in that same press conference. He was like, I will come back for $100 million, which was probably like $100 million, which is like a stupid amount of money, or something competitive. If Tony won that fight against Charles Oliveira, especially impressively, I think Khabib would have came back.
I don't think so.
But
I don't
now,
think so. Because that Gaichi fight, I think it threw everything like off the table. You know, if Tony Ferguson won that fight, then I think the fight would have happened. But since he lost to Gaichi, and then Khabib, he fought Gaichi, he beat Gaichi, right? Then there was a point of fighting Ferguson.
Because Khabib doesn't necessarily do MMA math like that. He doesn't say, okay, because Tony lost to Gaichi,
you know who does?
and I beat Gaichi, there's no point. No, I don't do that. You do that. Speak for yourself. So I think if Tony would have won that fight, he would have came back. Especially because he's always talked about his father. His late father also spoke about Tony Ferguson being like a very competitive matchup and somebody that would give Khabib some sort of competitive challenge in the octagon. If he won, January 20th would have been a completely different situation. Now, the only thing that Dana really has on the table is Conor and GSP potentially. I don't think Dana likes GSP anymore these days.
With the Bisping fight?
It's really Conor and potentially a huge payday. Which is kind of hard to sell to a guy that doesn't really care about the money, but it also has to be noted that Khabib is doing so many things now. He's so involved he has a new Russian organization, he has schools, he has different outreach programs. He needs money, right? He wants money to be funded into these programs. So what better than to have it funded by yourself? Well, like you make a cool $50 million, why not go there, beat the same guy that you beat already in Conor and make that money? So I think they're having 2 meetings. I think they're having one on January 20th and one a little bit later, like a dinner. But
steak dinner with burgers.
It's going to be interesting. Please, I want
You know I
Diet
deserve
Coke.
this. You know I deserve this. 2 burger, double cheese.
Give me one chicken.
Cola and ice.
So, January 20th is going to be very, very interesting. I don't think it's going to go as planned. In terms of like, I don't think it's going to go as Dana wish it goes. Dana wants that conversation on January 20th to be like, hey, Khabib, you want to come back? And Khabib goes, yeah, let's go. And then Dana goes, yeah, let's do it. And then they have a fight, but I don't think that's how it's gonna happen.
Listen, I'll tell you my prediction, okay? Before you say yours, I'm gonna tell you exactly what's gonna happen, okay? Khabib's gonna go there. I think he is gonna relinquish. I think he's gonna give that title away. I think then sometime in the summer, sometime in the fall, I think there's gonna be more talking about the GSP fight. I think GSP's gonna come back to fight somebody. I think he's gonna fight Islam Makhachev, okay? And then I think after that it's gonna be GSP and Khabib.
GSP and Khabib. Yeah, that's a potential. So if he goes on January 20th and Dana says, listen, look, Conor's going to fight on January 23rd.
Yeah.
How about you wait, see if he wins. If he wins and you're down to face him in a rematch for that title to like...
big money.
And make like a huge dollar like a payday that would be bigger than the first one, most likely.
Way bigger.
The first one, way bigger. Let's do that. So let's just wait until to see if what Conor does and the Conor post fight interview and all that kind of stuff.
Conor loses, it's gonna be Conor and Poirier 3. So
yeah, I don't know if they would do an instant rematch, but so let's wait until that fight happens before we do anything for the title. So I think it's no news will really come out about the whole Khabib situation until maybe after the Conor fight. So the press conference people will come and say, okay, hey, Dana White. So now that the fight is over, and let's just assume Conor wins, and Conor has won. Have you discussed that with Khabib? He'll be like, you know what? Yeah, and he'll give some hint. He'll be like, yeah, you know, we're talking about. He is interested, or something like that on that avenue. Or when he asks him, they'll be like, oh no, he's out. We're gonna strip the title and make Conor the champion, or
as we previously discussed, you know, if it's for $100 million, that fight's gonna happen, right? So
yeah, but you never know. I don't know if they're able to even give him $100 million. I don't know if that's even possible. But like $30 to $50 million, that I think that's doable for Khabib. But
you need some big sponsors.
This January 20th is not really talked about. I don't really see this date being thrown around, and I don't think any news will come out of this until after the Conor fight finishes. I think Dana's just gonna stonewall and be like, "Oh no, I haven't talked to Khabib or whatnot." He'll just be like, "Yeah, we talked, but we're gonna wait a little bit or something like that."
Yeah, it makes sense. I just think that I think what's gonna happen is that, like as you're saying before, I think after the Conor fight, I think after he wins, I think he's gonna say something crazy in the post-fight interview. He's gonna piss somebody off, right? Most likely Khabib. And then in the post-fight conference, that's when Mr. Dana White's gonna reveal everything and reveal the plan. So we'll see.
So this is a humble Conor too, because I was just thinking, I was like, they're gonna probably cross paths somewhere, because there's like weigh-ins, there's stare-offs, there's interviews and stuff like that. So there's a big chance that they see each other at least there. But this Conor, as of recent, isn't as brash as like previous Conors that we've seen. Like even from like the first Conor and Khabib fight, he is not the same person that he is in 2021. So it'll be interesting. We'll see what happens. What, bro? I don't want to do Max Holloway, Calvin Keator, man. I have no idea, man. You have to. I haven't done enough research on Calvin Keator, but Max Holloway versus Calvin Keator, scheduled for. I don't even know when that's scheduled for. When is it scheduled for?
I don't know yet.
Yeah, great. I keep these topics.
No. It's gonna be happening actually this Saturday. on the UFC Fight Night card.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
In Abu
I
Dhabi.
apologize. Max Holloway has always been one of my favorite fighters.
And the best the blessed, right? So
hey, the best. It is what it is. So Max Holloway's always been one of my more favorable fighters. Like I really like him. I kind of fallen off watching Max Holloway or his news since he lost his first and second fight against Alexander Volkanovski. I think a lot of it has to do with me wanting Max Holloway to move on. I want him to go to 155. Like leave these 145 fighters like alone. Like he's facing Calvin Keator, but for what purpose? So he faces Calvin Keator, and if he wins, does he get another title shot? If Alexander Volkanovski,
the Volkanovski fight was a robbery. So
but he still lost 2 times. Like, how are you gonna make a third fight between them? You're just gonna keep doing it. You've already established that those fights are very, very close. So number 3 is going to be just as close as well. So what happens if he loses another close decision? He's just going to go again and rematch again after that? Like, there's
maybe 4 fights.
How many times are we going to do this fight? Anyways, I like Calvin Keator. He's not really talked about too much. He's very, very dynamic in striking. Like he has a lot of power. He throws very, very nice and clean techniques and punches. Against Holloway as of recent has taken a lot of damage. Like he likes to throw volume, but he eats a lot of shots as well. So he outlasts his opponent and eventually finishes them or just wins by decision.
I think stat-wise, he actually has one of the highest strikes absorbed in the UFC.
That makes sense because he's also fighting for titles, which are 5-round fights. 5-round fights. So you're bound to be hit regardless of how good you are. Even Israel Adesanya gets hit. Even John Jones gets hit, right? Because they're in there for so long. Like it's hard to avoid every single shot. But in the case of Max Holloway, he hasn't really been knocked out yet, or he hasn't been knocked out yet. He's been TKO'd, but
against Conor, right?
No, Conor beat him by decision. Has he been TKO'd actually, Max Holloway? I don't think he has.
I'm not sure.
Maybe
we're gonna get flamed in the comments now for not doing our research.
It's alright. I could definitely just fix that right now. But so I see potential for this fight being a very back and forth fight. Just because Calvin Keator is much more of an exciting fighter. He likes to go in there and bang. He's very gritty, but very, very technical.
It reminds me of Dan Hooker.
Dan Hooker?
Yeah.
What do you mean, Dan Hooker?
Him and Keator.
Oh yeah,
Same style.
Yeah, they're size-wise they're completely different. One is really tall and one is a little shorter, but
style-wise.
Yeah. Actually, I looked. Max Holloway has only been finished via submission by Dustin Poirier, and that was back in 2012. Yeah.
That's a long time ago.
That's a long time ago. So he hasn't been knocked out. I don't like this fight for the mere reason I just want him to go to 155. Like let's start the new journey, okay? He's 29 years old. He's turning 30 in December. Let's get him to 155. Let's throw him in that mix.
But who's gonna fight 155 though? Like he fought Poirier, right? He fought Poirier, and honestly, like I don't know. It's not for him, man. I think he should stay at 145. Personally.
Listen.
Because all those guys in top 5.
Hold on, I said listen.
Listen, Noah.
One sec. Where's Noah?
Noah?
He fought Dustin Poirier on short notice. He had no opportunity to really go and like prepare for 155. It's not necessarily like I'm saying he's gonna go there and like pack on muscle, but he didn't have a whole fight camp understanding and knowing that I don't have to cut down to 145. He can be at a much different weight and have maybe even better training performance-wise because he's able to keep on more and pack on more weight onto him. He's getting older. The older you get, the harder it is to be as lean and to lose weight. And I think Max, he may be of that body type where I don't know what's called, ectomorphic or whatever it is, where He's very, very lean and very, very skinny. However, age still does affect you. Whether or not you have a lean body or not, you still have difficulties losing weight and doing that stuff. We've already seen Max Holloway be pulled out of fights because of weight loss or because of cutting weight. I think it was once or twice. I'm not sure if they're two different situations, but I remember he was supposed to be a late replacement for Khabib. This guy, I don't want to see Max go to 155 on short notice. Like, he tried to do it twice, or he did try to do it with Khabib, and then he had to cut loose because he had too much weight on him, and he did it with Dustin Poirier. Like, I need him to go into 155 knowing that he's going to 155 more than 2 weeks. Okay, give him at least 3-4 months, or even more than that if possible, to go to 155. And he doesn't have to go there to 155 and face like somebody that's a top 5 right away. Like, I get it, he's Max Holloway, but maybe a top 6, top 7, something that would get him excited or get this thing going again. Because if he goes there and beats Calvin Keator, like, Calvin Keator is really, really good, but like, nobody really knows who Calvin Keator is in terms of like the top of 145. The 145 division is like populated by guys like Korean Zombie, populated by Ortega, Zabit, Volkanovski, who else?
We're listing guys. Okay.
yeah. So there's a bunch of people there that have Yair Rodriguez. So Calvin Keator is ranked 6 currently. Mm-hmm. So if Max Holloway beats 6, what does that really do for him? He's Max Holloway is currently ranked 1.
Well, we know who's going to get the next title shot. It's going to be Ortega and
Brian Ortega,
and Volkanovski. So I don't know.
Yeah. So what does that really do? So if you beat Calvin Keator, what does that do? Does that earn you a title fight, or does that earn you a fight against a top 5? But if you're Max Holloway, you already kind of deserve.
Man, but the way that I see it, man, is that like he goes to 155, man. Like these top 5 guys in like that division are very tough, right? How is he gonna go up there and make weight and then fight those guys? You know, like Tony Ferguson or like Conor or like Gaichi, you know, or Khabib, all those guys.
Because he's Max Holloway.
I get it, but he's against those guys and going up in weight, I don't know about that, man. That's a.
But when he's going up in weight, you're really assuming that like his body type is fit for 145. 145 or 155 for some guys is not that big of a change. You kind of have to put an asterisk on the Max Holloway versus Dustin Poirier fight. It was on short notice. Max Holloway wasn't preparing for Dustin Poirier. He didn't do any preparation. He just literally came in there and fought him. Like, what do you expect to take a test? How do you expect to take a test 1 week to study?
I mean, if you ask me, that's not very hard. But
and most of the time when you're studying, you have to go and make sure that you're paying your bills. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, the equivalent of paying bills and like working is him having to cut weight or make weight and all that kind of stuff. So he didn't necessarily get the best opportunity. That's why I'm saying he needs to go in there, and he goes and he needs to go in there and he needs to face somebody like, let me give you some names. Paul Felder.
Sure.
Poor guy, man. Paul Felder. Every person that I'd say that should fight a top 10 UFC lightweight, it's always Paul Felder and Ali Alquinta and RDA. Yeah.
Man. Paul Felder.
RDA.
Paul Felder's name, man. This guy went in there.
Give me an RDA. Give me a Charles Oliveira would be really.
Give me
really
Islam Makhachev. Give me a Drew Dober.
Give me a Dan Hooker. Give me a Dan Hooker. Give me a Drew Dober, bro. There's so many options at 155. He just needs to go to the next stage. I don't know. Calvin Keator is on a 2-win fight streak. He beat Jeremy Stevens and then IG, whatever. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. IGE. But he beat them both. But he is.
Let's throw a curveball though. What happens if Max Holloway loses this fight against Keator?
Yeah, see, that's the other thing. It's like when if Max Holloway loses, he's on a 3-fight losing streak. Good. You're killing any momentum, any chance. And then if he goes to 155, it's like it's a different narrative now. When he goes to 155, it's more about he's only going to 155 because he can't make it at 145 anymore, as opposed to, you know what, I'm doing it on my terms. I'm going to go to 155 and try to get that title and next journey. Usman versus Burns for UFC 258. This fight has been booked. I don't even know how many times this has been booked. It fell out. It's fallen through because of pandemic reasons and fighters getting injured and stuff like that and getting sick. But it's supposed to be booked for UFC 258 for the welterweight title. Burns has been he's kind of been under the radar for the last couple years or so. He's beat notable guys before, but he's not necessarily the most flashy option out there. The most attractive matchup before Masvidal lost to Usman was Masvidal. I give.
How about Covington too?
Against Usman, but Usman already beat him. I meant.
He beat him, but.
I meant after the Gilbert Burns fight fell through. Masvidal filled in on 6 days' notice. I wish I could have got Masvidal versus Usman on like full camp and like preparations, but I think we have to wait and see what happens with that. Masvidal is kind of being radio silent. We made a video about a closer look at the matchup that a lot of the media and Dana White wants to make, and that's Jorge and Colby Covington. It's at the top right of your screen. It is a fight that I don't think Jorge necessarily wants in Colby Covington, because it kind of puts him in a position where if he loses, what is next for him? The title fight is kind of out of reach unless he does another short notice fill-in. Again, he's getting there up there in age, and the chances that he's going to get, especially to try to maximize his dollars, is dwindling down. We'll see how the Gilbert Burns fight and Kamaru Usman.
This whole weight class is waiting for Khamzat to arrive, man. I think that's what it is, personally.
So Khamzat's a different situation, but this fight is scheduled for February 13th, 2021. There's plenty of time for either one of them to fall out again. These broken old men.
Holy, the disrespect to Usman Burns, the disrespect to the Nigerian Nightmare. Somebody clip that and send
Kamaru Usman is a supreme athlete. He just has a lot of injury issues. As he's getting older, his knees is giving him issues.
Well, but look at his style. What do you expect?
He's. I remember hearing somewhere that because of his knees being so messed up, he walks backwards downstairs, so when he goes downstairs, he goes backwards to lessen the impact of on his knees, because he can't.
He can't for sure it. He doesn't do any road work. You know that for sure.
Yeah, he would. I don't think he would make it for any. He can't do no marathons. Let's just say that. Not because he's not physically able to. It's just not like physically capable. It's just his knees are not the same anymore. Gilbert Burns has been winning for a while now. He's 19-3. Is his record. He's on a 6 fight win streak. The most notable on there is Tyron Woodley and Damian Maia.
What's happening to Woodley, man? This guy's losing all these fights. This guy lost to Usman. This guy lost to Covington. Lost to Burns. You know?
Yeah.
He's falling in our love.
What's also impressive about that win against Tyron Woodley was it was on short notice. Woodley was supposed to face Leon Edwards, and then because of Leon's inability to get over to the States, where they were holding the fights, I think it was Las Vegas, Gilbert Burns actually replaced Leon Edwards and got that opportunity. So Leon kind of got the short end of the stick. He could have fought Tyron Woodley and got the title shot, but Gilbert Burns looks like the UFC really wants Gilbert Burns to get his shot, because this thing has been booked and booked and booked. He even got replaced by Jorge, and then he still gets another opportunity. He is going to go against a Kamaru Usman that's also on like a tear. Usman, oh my god, let me count his win streak. Actually, I think 16 would be his win streak, because he won his first fight and then he lost, and then he hasn't lost since then. He beat Jorge Masvidal at UFC 251 via decision. I think this fight would probably go to the same direction. I think he is a much better wrestler than Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns is jiu-jitsu wise is a lot better than Kamaru Usman, but I don't think Kamaru Usman is going to take any chances like on the ground where he's going to get swept and he's going to get triangled or anything like that. I think he's just going to have constant pressure on Gilbert Burns, impose his will, and just wear him out, just like every other fight he does.
What's next for Usman after this fight?
I don't know. The 170 division is
very slow right now.
It's all over the place. Like, you have Jorge Masvidal, who is really the only other person that I know of that's like asking for a fight urgently. Like it's super necessary for him to get another fight.
Super necessary.
So top 5, let's say Colby Covington, Gilbert Burns, Leon Edwards, Jorge Masvidal, Stephen Boy.
Woodley, Michael Chiesa.
Yeah, so I think Leon versus Khamzat. Leon wins. If Leon wins, it would be Leon versus Kamaru. If Leon versus Khamzat won, I wouldn't put it past the UFC
right away, or no?
I don't put it past the UFC and Ali Abdulaziz to go out there after Leon fight, be like, listen, Dana, Leon Edwards, Dana, Leon Edwards, number 3, Khamzat beats him. Why not give him a title shot? Who are you going to give a title shot to? Colby Covington? He just lost. You can give it to Gilbert Burns? He just lost. You're going to give it to Jorge? He just lost. You give it to Stephen Boy? He hasn't fought that active, or he hasn't been that active, or anybody in the top 5 for a while. So I think there's a possibility that Khamzat would get that title shot, but there's a lot of ifs.
The backlash of that whole division. If this guy went there, ranked 15, first of all, he got to fight with top 3 Leon Edwards, and then somehow he fights Usman next. Oh my god, there's gonna be.
But who's the backlash gonna be from?
Who's gonna
say
from Colby, from Jorge, from Thompson, especially Thompson.
Colby recently lost, right? Like, what is he gonna say? He deserves a title shot. Well, Colby, you need to fight yourself first.
Let's scratch out Colby. Let's scratch out Burns.
Okay.
Let's scratch out Edwards. There's Jorge.
Okay.
He probably wants that fight. Thompson has been.
Yeah, but Jorge needs another fight before he fights.
Thompson has been very vocal on the fact that Khamzat, who's ranked 15th, should not even fight top 3 Leon Edwards. And there's Woodley.
Yeah, we know.
Maya.
We know how Stephen Boy feels, but Maya is not in the conversation anymore. Maya has already signed his retirement papers. Chiesa, he's fighting who? He's fighting tall, lanky guy, the Gazelle, Neil Magny. Yeah, he's fighting Neil Magny soon. So I don't know if that would make, if you beat Neil Magny, you get a title
but now
shot,
that you say it, man, like, honestly, I could see him having like a title fight next after this Leon fight if he wins that.
If he beats Leon Edwards, I don't put it past the UFC making that fight. They would be like, listen, do you know Leon Edwards was on an 8-fight winning streak and he went there and he destroyed him?
It's not gonna be fun to hear the backlash of that, man. That's all I'm gonna say.
So I think if you book Leon and Khamzat in March-ish, and Kamaru Usman fights Gilbert Burns, you could see a Khamzat and Usman fight in August? Maybe I could see August. Yeah, I could see August because that's basically fall. So August, September, around that time, I could see that fight going, but there's a lot of ifs. There's a big chance that Leon goes in there and beats him, and then he takes that fight instead, or the number one
Let's see
contender status.
what One Punch Man does to Leon Edwards, but
yeah. But also don't put it past don't look past Gilbert Burns, because he also has a chance to beat Kamaru Usman. Right? Anybody could lose. I don't know, bro. How many fights did you see of Gilbert Burns in your life? Which one? He's giving me the signal to wrap up. Okay, wrap.